morning. Rich is calling from Staten Island. What's up, Rich?
Sal, how are you? Congrats on the new show, pal.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Really quick, I wanted to talk about the caller that you had yesterday, the interaction about Steve Cohen. You know, I called BT and Tiki about a month ago exactly saying the same thing that the gentleman said yesterday about the GMs, about Cohen. But there's one point that I really wanted to, have a little dialogue on.
Sure.
He said that Cohen isn't really someone to blame here. There's a list of 100 things wrong, and he's not even in the top 100. What do you mean by that? Because how I look at it is, yes, I understand there's 26 men on an active roster. They play every day. There's a manager. There's GMs, front office, all that stuff. But then when I'm listening to it, I'm like, well, Sal, if the WFAN, if the ratings aren't great, right, you kind of change some things up and you change management up and things like that too. Like no one gets a free pass is what I'm trying to say. But you made it sound like yesterday like Cohen gets a free pass. So
yes.
Do you want to clarify that?
Yeah. I mean, do I have to clarify it? You seem to understand it pretty well. Steve Cohen's not to blame.
How do you say that, though, when he's hired 3 poor GMs? He's been here his 4th season now.
He has not hired 3 poor GMs. He has not hired 3 poor GMs. He hired a president of baseball operations when he took over. Let me ask you something, Rich. You want another owner? Who do you want that's better than Steve Cohen?
I don't want Steve Cohen out of here. He's done a great job. I'm a season ticket holder.
Okay, so then what is so tell me what so who do you want either instead of Steve Cohen, or what is the problem exactly with Steve Cohen?
Because he's gotten burned by different GMs, Sal. And if you listen to the reports, you're an insider. You know stuff that goes on that most people don't. And we even heard stuff all season long. When do you hear an owner getting involved in negotiations directly with an agent? It doesn't really happen, Sal. I used to work
so what's the problem with that?
Happen.
Is there a problem with that? Was there a problem with him getting involved in Correa?
It shows, yes, it was. And there's more that he's been involved in, especially Verlander directly. Sal, he's too involved, and he's gotten burned by GMs. And then he comes on a few days ago and talks about, I need a president of baseball operations. So what's this team doing? It's like Dave Gettleman talking about the Giants.
No, hold on a second. Rich, I don't know if you understand. First of all, each of those situations is different. The owner taking a free agent out to dinner is common practice. Like, you're aware of that, right?
Yes, I'm 100% aware.
So the owner being able to close the deal and lure a big free agent here, whether it's Max Scherzer or Justin Verlander, that's a good thing that he did. Him and his wife, Steve Cohen, Alex Cohen, that's a good thing that they did. So you're painting it as bad for some reason, but that's a good thing. That's number one. Number two, he talked about hiring a president of baseball operations. What do you think he's doing?
Right.
I'm asking you a question. What do you think he's doing?
He's gotten burned, Sal. He's trying to get David Stearns here.
No, so he's trying. No, so the answer is, I'll help you out. The answer is he's waiting for the right guy. He's not just going to go hire anybody. He wants to make it the right move. Whether it's Stearns, whether it's somebody else, he's waiting to hire. He made it clear, I've still been trying to hire a president of baseball operations. For whatever reason,
Correct.
It's something they haven't been able to do. That's his fault?
Sal, absolutely it is, because you want to know why?
No, it's not his fault. It's not his fault.
Sal.
They haven't found a good president yet for baseball operations. He brought Sandy Alderson over, which was the right move at the time because there's familiarity there, not only with him and Sandy Alderson, but with Sandy Alderson and the organization. They needed that to transition from ownership. Like, what do you? I'm confused.
I understand. What I'm trying to say, Sal, is that you want him to hire a president of baseball operations? Sure, I agree with you.
I don't care if he does or doesn't. He's going to.
Sal, hold on. Why are we letting Billy Epler make trades at the trade deadline last year when we gave away 4 players because the Giants ended up getting Darren Ruff back?
So now you're on to the GM. Okay, so there's different levels of this conversation.
He's hiring poor people.
Well, hold on. I'll get. You don't know that yet, Rich. You're calling Billy Epler a bad general manager after 1 year where you had 101 wins.
I don't care about 101 wins.
So what do you care about then, Rich?
I care about a ring. I care about
okay, Rich. Name me the Mets general manager that's won a ring since 1986. Or the Mets owner. I mean, all you care about is a ring. You're an idiot. How do you think you get the ring? There's a build-up process to it. Here's a guy who's knocking Steve Cohen for not just hiring any president, but he's knocking Steve Cohen for waiting around to hire someone. So you want him to just go hire anybody? They're in transition here. That's why they had to hire Alderson. Alderson's no longer here for whatever reason. They got to hire a team president. In the meantime, he hired Billy Epler. By the way, I stand by it. Not a bad hire based on what he's done prior. Who do you want? You want Jared Porter back? I don't remember the other guy's name, the drunk driving guy. What was his name? Zach Scott? You want him back? What do you want the guy to do as an owner? I'm confused as to where you guys are. You want a ring. That's what you care about. How do you think you get a ring? You got to get to the postseason. They did a year ago. They won 101 games. I don't care about the 101 games. I don't care. Well, then you're an idiot if you don't care about 101 games. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, what's he doing on the phone with Scott Boras? Trying to get Carlos Correa. You know what he's doing? Trying to win you a ring. What's he doing talking to Scott Boras about Correa? Trying to get you a ring. You think Steve Cohen's not trying to win? You guys, it is unbelievable to me that anybody walking the face of this earth thinks that Steve Cohen isn't doing anything that he possibly can to make the Mets a winner. And before I get the tweets about, oh, well, you work for SNY, Steve Cohen doesn't own SNY. I've got nothing to do with Steve Cohen. This is me being a Met fan telling you how it is, or being a broadcaster telling you how it is. Nothing but facts here. You want somebody else? You want somebody other than the guy who spent the most money in the history of the sport on his team? Who tried to spend even more for getting what we all thought was the final piece? He's not doing well enough? I'm not saying Billy Epler's a great general manager. I'm saying that we don't know yet. What we have to go based off of is one very successful season. Like, that's a fact. It's the second most successful regular season in the history of the franchise. You can't take that away from him or Buck Showalter. It happened. So before you just, oh, he's terrible. Oh, he traded 4 guys for Darren Ruff. Every general manager, even the most successful of general managers, have made crappy decisions and bad trades. There wasn't that piece out there that they missed last year. You can say that about the Yankees. Brian Cashman missed out on Luis Castillo. Now, whether you would have given up what it would have taken to get him, that's a different story. But they missed out on Luis Castillo. And they got Frankie Montas instead. Disaster. Again, I'm not trying to pick on Brian Cashman. I'm just giving you a reference of last year's, we're talking about the trade deadline. Who'd you want? J.D. Martinez? How'd he do? I wanted Josh Bell. How'd he do? Plus, the Mets are in a bad predicament because of prior ownership and prior general manager and malpractice that they have to rebuild the farm system, which it doesn't allow you then to go trade those guys for available players at the trade deadline or in the offseason. There's only one way the Mets right now can improve the farm system and get better at the big league level. Do you know what that way is? Give you a second. Spending money. Name me an owner that spent more money than Steve Cohen. The defense rests. Like, guys, it's not that difficult. What you want is impossible. You want the ring. You don't want to put in the work to get there. You can't see that this owner is putting in the work to make it happen. You finally have an owner that comes in and says, I expect to win in 3 to 5 years. Now, that really shouldn't mean anything because, yeah, we'd all love that to be the case. It's not the reality. It's hard. And unfortunately, the Mets aren't or weren't close to that when he took over. It's a process here. You can blame Billy Epler this year. You can blame Buck Showalter. You certainly can blame almost every player to a man. There's one guy, just to make it clear, because it seems like, I thought you got the point pretty good, but just to make it clear. There's one guy you can't blame, period. And that's the owner.